What happens when a human wrecking ball decides to throw hands instead of just lifting insane amounts of weight? Enter Mariusz Pudzianowski, a strongman turned fighter who realized his superhuman strength could do a lot more than just win weightlifting trophies. Instead of just lifting heavy things, he started throwing people around in combat sports, bulldozing his way through opponents like a real-life boss battle. With 5 World's Strongest Man titles under his belt, Mariusz Pudzianowski had already cemented his legacy as an absolute powerhouse. But instead of riding off into the sunset, he made a jaw-dropping move into MMA, proving that he wasn't just about brute force. He was a fearless warrior ready to take on anyone who dared to step into the cage with him. So, how did this strength titan transition from lifting to breaking faces? Let's dive into the wild story of Mariusz Pudzianowski, a man built for destruction. Mariusz Zbigniew Pudzianowski, better known as Pudzian or simply the Dominator, was born on February 7, 1977, and has spent his entire life proving that he's not just strong, he's next-level superhuman. Whether it's lifting cars, flipping massive tires, or knocking out opponents in the cage, this Polish powerhouse has done it all. When it comes to the world of strength sports, few names command as much respect as Pudzianowski. With an insane 70% international winning percentage, he's widely regarded as the greatest strongman to ever compete. And if that wasn't enough, he holds the record for the most World's Strongest Man titles, 5 in total. But he wasn't just about winning. His domination was absolute. Even in 2006 and 2009, when he didn't take home gold, he still landed in second place. That's right, this guy never even placed outside the top 2 when competing at the world's biggest strongman stage. Unreal. After terrorizing the strongman circuit for years, Pudzianowski wasn't done pushing the limits of what's possible. In 2009, he made a shocking career switch, jumping into the brutal world of mixed martial arts, MMA. And, in classic Pudzian style, he's been just as terrifying inside the cage as he was on the strongman stage. Today, he's ranked 3rd in the KSW heavyweight division, proving that his power isn't just for lifting heavy things, it's for crushing opponents too. Mariusz Pudzianowski's journey to becoming the most dominant strongman in history wasn't all smooth sailing. It had some wild twists along the way. His first taste of competition came on May 1st, 1999, when he entered a strongman contest in Płock, Poland. And while he showed promise, it was at the 2000 World's Strongest Man WSM competition that he really made an impact, finishing 4th in his international debut. Not bad for a rookie, right? But just as his strongman career was taking off, Pudzianowski found himself behind bars. In 2000 and 2001, he spent 19 months in prison in Łowicz for an alleged assault case that sounds like something straight out of an action movie. According to Pudzianowski, he was trying to stop a local mafia boss, but instead, he ended up being accused of assault and stealing the guy's golden chain. Talk about bad luck. His time in prison kept him out of the 2001 WSM competition, but it didn't break him. In fact, years later, he returned to the same prison, not as an inmate, but as a motivational speaker for a resocialization program. Imagine being a prisoner and getting life advice from a 5-time World Strongman champion. Bet that was a surreal experience. After missing a year, Pudzianowski stormed back onto the strongman scene in 2002, and he wasn't just back. He was unstoppable. He crushed the competition and won his first ever World's Strongest Man title. And if anyone thought it was just a fluke, he proved them all wrong in 2003. His performance at the 2003 World's Strongest Man was straight up legendary. He was so dominant that he won with an event to spare, something almost unheard of in strongman history. Across the 7 grueling events, he racked up 4 first-place finishes, 2 second-place finishes, and a third-place finish. The gap between him and second place? A mind-blowing 18 points. To put that into perspective, the gap between 2nd and 9th place was only 20 points. British strongman Lawrence Shalai even called it the most dominant victory in WSM history. And honestly, he's not wrong. Pudzianowski didn't just win, he obliterated the competition. And that was just the beginning of his strongman reign of terror. Just when it seemed like nothing could stop Pudzianowski, the 2004 World's Strongest Man WSM competition threw him a massive curveball. He initially finished 3rd, but things took a turn when he was disqualified for violating the strongman health policy. That meant giving up his prize money, losing crucial International Federation of Strength Athletes IFSA points, and, worst of all, a 1-year ban from competition. Now, most athletes would have fought back, denied everything, or at least asked for a second test. But not Pudzianowski. The guy just shrugged it off and waived his right to have his stool sample verified. No drama, no excuses. He just took the hit and focused on making a comeback. By 2007, Pudzianowski was laser-focused on one goal: to become the first man to win 5 WSM titles. He crushed the competition that year and was ready to do it again in 2008. But then, disaster struck. At the 2008 Polish Strongman Championship Cup, he suffered a serious calf injury. And if that wasn't bad enough, he made it worse during the WSM qualifying rounds. At that point, most competitors would have thrown in the towel. But not Pudzianowski. Despite the pain, he won his heat and secured a spot in the final. But there was a big problem. Derek Poundstone was leading the competition with just 2 events to go. With his injured calf, the odds were stacked against him. Then came the plane pull. Pudzianowski somehow powered through the pain and won the event, cutting Poundstone's lead down to just 1 point. That meant everything came down to the final event, the legendary Atlas Stones. It was a winner-takes-all battle, Pudzianowski versus Poundstone. The final Atlas Stone would decide the champion. In an insanely close finish, Pudzianowski just barely edged out his American rival, securing his 5th and final WSM title. To this day, he remains the only man in history to have 5 World's Strongest Man titles. Injuries, bans, and brutal competition, nothing could stop the Dominator. 2 of the former World's Strongest Men champions, Mariusz Pudzianowski and Eddie Hall, are now set to throw down in the cage at KSW 105 in Gliwice, Poland. This isn't just some novelty fight. This is a battle of absolute powerhouses who have nothing to prove but everything to fight for. Now, let's be real. Eddie Hall is a beast in the strength world, but his MMA experience? Well, it's questionable at best. The only time he stepped into the cage was during a bizarre 2 versus 1 fight last year. That's right, 2 guys took on Hall at the same time, and somehow that counts as preparation. Meanwhile, Mariusz Pudzianowski is no stranger to MMA warfare. With 27 fights under his belt, he's been battling in the sport since 2009. He even holds an iconic 75-second knockout victory over the legendary Butterbean. Yes, the same Butterbean known for flattening people in boxing rings around the world. Some thought Pudzianowski's MMA career was done after a shocking June 2023 loss. But let's not forget, he was the heavy favorite in that fight against ex-boxer Artur Szpilka at KSW 85. Szpilka may have been 2-0 in MMA, but his reputation was mostly built in boxing. He had a solid 24-5 record and even shared the ring with the likes of Brian Jennings, Tomasz Adamek, Adam Kovnacki, and Derek Chisora. But most fans remember him for one thing: getting brutally knocked out by Deontay Wilder in 2016. In his fight against Pudzianowski, things were looking predictable. Pudzian absolutely dominated the first round, and it seemed like another KO was on the way. But MMA is a wild game, and the tides turned fast. Now, Pudzianowski is on the comeback trail, and there's no better way to prove he still got it than by smashing Eddie Hall in April. Will Hall's sheer strength be enough, or will Pudzianowski's fight experience make the difference? One thing's for sure, this fight is going to be absolute chaos. Mariusz Pudzianowski isn't just a beast in the gym and the cage. He's a full-blown entertainer. From dominating strongman competitions to throwing down in MMA and even dancing his way to the finals on Dancing with the Stars, this guy has done it all. And now, he's not slowing down. With his legendary combat sports career set to continue in 2025, fans can expect more jaw-dropping moments. What's next for Pudzianowski? Another knockout? A surprise TV appearance? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more.